start recording. Okay, so the recording is on now already. We'll have to cut it out later. How's everybody doing?
Baruch Hashem.
Good. Okay, we'll wait another few minutes. Really
Yeah.
sorry. Is this way better? This angle better?
You look fine.
Okay, because it's my phone, so I don't know,
Different angle. It's different.
What?
It's a different angle.
Yeah.
It works.
Oh, works good. Okay.
You look beautiful. You look beautiful, Esther.
Thank you very much. That's not what I meant. I meant the phone.
I know that.
The phone. Okay. Fine. So maybe I'll do it this way. It's just my glasses don't pick up at that angle. It's bifocal. Multifocal. You have to find the right angle to know how to see. Okay. We'll work it out. Okay. One more minute. I see the English people woke up early today. The British.
I'm up at this time every day.
Right. Working lady.
Yeah.
Right. You're a working lady.
That's why you never see my face. I'm always getting ready to go out.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe we will start because everybody has to go to work, and the other ones will chime in later. Okay, so for today, again, I apologize for I cannot share the screen. I'm on my phone, and I could do it, but it'll be too complicated for me. That is. So we'll. It's an easy pasuk. We're the ashet chil. Everybody, put yourself on mute, please. Okay, please put on mute, and Simcha, mute, please. Simcha,
Yeah.
could you please mute your phone? Okay, that's good. Fine. So good morning, everybody. Again, I apologize. I'm using my phone, so there won't be screen sharing today. We will be doing pasuk tests from ashet chil. It's an easy pasuk. It's a short pasuk and an easy pasuk. We were talking about ashet chil. We said we were doing it on 3 levels. The level of husband and wife, like Abram and Sarah, that he wrote it for her, in parenting, which is Shlomo Melech wrote it for Bathsheba, and a parable for Torah, Am Yisrael and Torah, and Am Yisrael and the Kodesh Baruch Hu, and it's talking about the Torah. But we could take it in any way. And we're talking about this great woman that seems to not eat, sleep, provide for her home, warm clothing, and bring comfort to her husband. And she's feminine, and she's very active, and she's very productive. Really, the woman of today, maybe not the way we pictured the woman of years gone by. I actually yesterday taught seminary girls, and they were talking about the career women and the career women. And I said, do you think it's a new phenomena, working women? They said, of course, women were always at home, moms and stuff like that. So I said to them, all these rabbanim that the Mishnah talks about them, on a few of them, it says Yochanan Asandlar, and this one was this, and this one was that, but majority sat and learned. That's how we have the Talmud. And who provided for their homes? Their wives. The wives were working women. And you have it also in later times, in the times of the Baal Shem Tov and beforehand, the women running the inn, the pundak, or the shtetl store, maybe the husband went to Leipzig to buy the fabrics and to buy the tobacco or to buy the produce, but the women were the ones that brought in the livelihood and the parnasa. So working women was a given always in the Jewish nation. It's just that they knew how to do it, manage both house and home somehow. And actually in the modern world was like you have to choose. And Baruch Hashem, the Rebbe taught us we don't have to choose. We could do both, and we try to do both to the best of our capability with the right priorities. This is really the message of the Rebbe. We could do both, but your first priority is home. Actually, maybe I'll send you later a little clip that I got today from Rabbi Yossi Jacobson that somebody sent and posted. You'll see it, how the Kohen Gadol, it says at the end of his avoda, in the Beis Hamikdash, it says, and after he finished the avoda in the Beis Hamikdash, it says that he went home. And the Rebbe says, why does the Torah have to tell us that Motzei Yom Kippur he went home? Where did we think he went? Did he stay around in the Beis Hamikdash? Did he have to clean up? Did he have to, wash up? Where did we think he went to hit town? To eat? He went home. He went home to eat, and he went home to his home. He was a whole day in the Beis Hamikdash. And the Rebbe said it's part of the halacha that even if you're Kohen Gadol, Kodesh Kodashim, the highest day of the year, and when in, the Kodesh Kodashim, that you go in once a year, and Chipeh Ba'ado Ba'ad Beito, you did the whole work for Am Yisrael, getting the kapara for Am Yisrael, doesn't mean you can't. But home is really where you should go. Even a person who does all that should go home and take out the garbage, should go home and help his wife, should go home and tuck the kids to bed and ask them how their Yom Kippur went. How was their day? Go home, meaning connect down here. God did not want malachim. He wanted people on certain days on Yom Kippur. We want to be like a malach, dressed in white, doing avodas hakodesh. But at the end of the day, the purpose is to go home, to bring all that kedusha and all that home, to go home. So also with the women, all this ashes chayil, it does stress her work on the outside, but it also stresses her connection to the house. Okay, today's pasuk is an interesting pasuk. It talks about pleasure. Where's the place of pleasure in the life of a Jewish person? So, the pasuk is Tes, Ta'ama, Kitov Sachra, Lo Yichbe Balayla Neira. Okay, Ta'ama Kitov Sachra. She tasted and she saw that she has quality goods. Lo Yichbe Balayla Neira. And therefore, her light and during the night was not closed because she wanted to get more and more merchandise, more schora, okay? Meaning a person who tastes pleasure wants more. So a woman who sees her success, she tasted success, will want more, and she will be more diligent and work even through the night. Okay, so I used two books. One book, like I mentioned to you, it's called Finding the Woman of Valor. She goes according to a medrash, I think Shachatov, and she says it's talking about Hannah, Shmuel's mother that we learned about. But another book that I'm using brings from different places, and it says it actually is talking about Batya, the daughter of Paro, who saved Moshe Rabbeinu. We know that Moshe Rabbeinu, it's always the question, what was his name before Batya named him? We know that she only met him when he was 3 months old. His parents kept him 3 months in the house. So he had a name before he was named by his parents, by his bris. So what was his name? So based on the pasuk that when he was born, the house was filled with light and tov, kitov, that he was called Tov or Kitov, Vaya Kitov. So based on this, it says that when Batya saw Moshe Rabbeinu, she saw his light, Vatere Oto Kitov, right? She saw also that it was good. She tasted the light of Yiddishkeit through this baby, through Moshe Rabbeinu, and probably through the connection to Miriam and Yocheved, because he was being nursed by Yocheved. So she had contact with Moshe's mother and sister all the time, and she got to see what the Jewish people are about, and that's why many Mefarshim say that she was Megared. She tasted Lo yichbe balayla nera, the light was not diminished, meaning she was not killed the night that all the Bchorot were killed in Makat Bchorot. She was his Bchora, she was Paro's eldest child, and we know also the eldest of all the Mitzrayim, whether it was a girl or a boy, were killed. She benefited from it because she tasted the good and came to Emunah B'Hashem. So she wasn't killed in Makat Bchorot. I thought this was an interesting explanation for this pasuk, that it's talking about another woman. It's talking about Batya. I do want to discuss what is pleasure. What is Tanug in Am Yisrael? When you learn Chassidus and when you learn about the Spheros, something that we're doing now in the days of Sphira, we're in the sphere of Netzach, which means Nitzachon, winning, overcoming, right? We work on our spheres, the 10 spheres, Chochmah, Bina, Das, Chesed, Gvura, Tiferes, Netzach, Hod, Yisod, and Malchut. There is above them Keter and Ta'anug. Ta'anug is something that is above the Sphirot. It's something that is a Sphira that encompasses all and is actually above all the other spheres. In other words, in everything that we do, we should have the Ta'anug. Or Ta'anug is actually a root for all the Sfirot. All the Sfirot should come from Ta'anug, because the Sfirot could go to Tuma and it could go to Tahara. So if the root is Ta'anug for Kedusha, so all our Sfirot, our Chesed, our pleasure should be for things of Tahara, Torah, doing good for others. Gvura, our strength, should be for Torah mitzvahs, and not Chesed for Tumah. You know, it says that if you're I've got the expression, that you could end up being good to Rishayim. If you're not doing the right thing, you'll end up showing your chesed to the wrong people and to the wrong things. Meaning, all the sfirot could be used in the wrong way. Even if we say a person out of goodness is killing their child, killing the people by choking them with too much goodness, and it's not good for the person. So the Tanug has to be placed in the right place and coming from the right thing. And this is what's saying, Ta'ama kitov sachra, her merchandise, meaning she saw that her pleasure is coming from the right merchandise. And therefore, she worked on it more to get more and more of what of that merchandise. And it's talking about Torah, her giving to her family, her giving kavod to her husband, this type of ta'anug. Ta'anug comes from a very, very high source, from a very high place. Later we'll talk about, maybe I'll stop here for a second if I'm talking about ta'anug, how it could also be used to change. We, of course, change from tov lera, and how it could change even a gzeira. When the Torah talks about Torah and mitzvahs, when we're doing chinuch, I'm talking now like the teacher working with teenagers, and I see they're getting pleasure from things from the outside world, whether it's movies, idols of pop idols and cultures, and this is what's giving them their high. I'm not talking about that it goes to things that I'm just talking about private things even, but their minds are filled with a lot of shtus. And then I come as a representative and I tell them, you're supposed to do this and you're supposed to do that. And they start telling me, it's so hard. It's so hard. Of course it's hard. Nobody ever say it's easy. So I ask them, and when you go to a concert on the Yarkon for this, Goyish idol singer, it's hard to get tickets. You have to come early. I mean, I live off the Yarkon. I see what time they come and isn't that hard? He said, yes, but it's so much fun. So I said, well, maybe try it on something of Torah and mitzvahs, meaning you're filling yourself with pleasure of the outside world, so there's no room for pleasure in Torah. But maybe let's try to switch to the pleasure of Torah. And I think as educators, as mothers, this is part of our tafkid in this world of making everything in Torah mitzvahs pleasurable, so our children will find pleasure in these things, so they don't have to go to drugs, pornography, and other things to give them a certain high and pleasure. So this is one thing of Ta'anug. Ta'anug is what motivates us. Ta'anug is what gives us strength to do whatever we have to do. And it's interesting. I once had this conversation. I'm switching now for a minute about parenting. We said we'll talk about as couples, parenting and Torah mitzvahs. So I'll switch for a second to parenting. I once, maybe I told you the story last year. Many years ago, I came to a very posh, elegant Sheva brachas that a friend of mine made in a very high-class hotel, and we were women that got dressed to fit the occasion, and crystal glasses, and very nicely set. Sometimes I give a look at how many forks and how many spoons are at the setting, and I know how long I'm going to be here. There will be an entree, and then a fish, and then a this, and then a salad. We'll be there. Waiters coming back and forth every minute to change and straighten out our napkins, etc. That style. And next to me sits down a woman. She was an actress, actually, years ago in Hadima. She became frum, and she was holding a baby. Now, this woman was struggling with the baby. She was sitting next to me. The baby was not clean, dirty overall. Carriage was quite sticky. And the woman was not getting her act together, and she was like complaining, and she was saying, where's my husband? Why doesn't she fall asleep? Where is my husband? And my heart broke for her a bit. She probably looked at all of us well-dressed, and none of us had kids with us, even though I did have little children, but they were not with me. And she was just eyeing, and the baby was throwing down the crystal cup, and then the wine glass, and then the first fork, and then the other fork, and then the linen napkin was used to wipe her face and her nose and everything else. It was not a very good scene. And I'm sitting next to her, and I'm trying to help her, actually. I'm good with kids. I like children. So I told her, you know what? Your husband's, you're trying to call your husband through the mechitza. It's not going. I'll hold the baby. Eat your portion and enjoy yourself. You finally went out, enjoy yourself. It's fine. She goes, you're going to get all dirty from her. And I said, everything is doable. It's just a dress. I don't want to say dry, clean, 100% silk, but it's okay. I said, everything is doable. Just enjoy yourself, relax. And I kept the baby busy and everything. And she was the whole time, it's so hard. It's so hard. I don't know how you do it. I don't know that. So I said to her, I remember the times holding the baby, twisting babies, and wanting to go out and having to make choices. And babies don't always follow your needs and wants and your tanuk. And she goes, it's tough for my husband, and you see, he's not even looking over the mechitza to see how I'm managing. He does that. And then the conversation was like so hard. And then she says to me, so how many children do you have? And I said, it doesn't matter. Every child, it could be one child. It's not a matter of numbers. It's not a competition of numbers. And I was calming her down. And then she says to me, I can't do it. I want a lot of kids. I can't do it. Look, I'm not managing, and my husband, and it's I. So she says to me, give me some tips. So I said, the first tip I would give you, drop the I. Drop the I. The I, it's hard. I is this. You're not enjoying yourself. Enjoy these years. Enjoy. Yes, could be you'll some days, nights have to make a choice. You'll get an invitation to sit in a very beautiful hotel in the Sheva Brachas with entertainment, good food. It looks like we're going to be here many hours. But your baby's not falling asleep. I said, so you say, my pleasure now is to be with my child or get a babysitter. But to come to Sheva Brachas with a screaming, tired, dirty baby, and I said, you ruined your mood. You ruined the baby's mood, and you're also ruining those sitting next to you. All we hear is I, and how difficult, and how, and we're all full of rachmanis with you, even though I'm thinking, I've been there like 12 times, many times, hundreds of times. But if I knew that I'm going to sit and kvetch, I'm not going to go. I'll maybe kvetch at home, but no. Decide where's your pleasure at at that time. And if you're not going to enjoy, you're hoping maybe to be able to do both. But after you saw that it can't be done, the baby here with the crystal cups, with people telling you to take her out because she's crying. It wasn't me. I would never tell a lady that, but it's hard enough as it is, but that she's disturbing. And you're kvetching about it. Nobody's having pleasure. The nikuda is pleasure. The nikuda is liking what you're doing. And you have to find that ahava, that tanug in what you're doing. Because otherwise, I said, this kid is going to grow up with a lot of I. And Shabbos is I. Preparing for Shabbos is I. I have women calling me up on Thursday. I can't believe I have to start all the Shabbos again. I. So I said, so Shabbos is not a pleasure. And it says on Shabbos, v'karasa l'Shabbos oneg. V'karata l'Shabbat oneg. It's supposed to be a pleasure. But if it's a and so something in the organization skills or in the machshava is very, very difficult. So we have to work on that tanuk. I remember once I had a woman who used to come to me every Friday night for the meal. And I wanted her to start, I was hoping to get her to come before Lichtbenchen so she would light Shabbos candles. But I was never able to get her to come before Shabbat. So once I told her to come early, that I needed her help. She should help me set the table or whatever it was. And she came. And then I said, we're going to light candles. She said, okay. And then after she lit the candle, she sat down on my couch and froze. So I asked her what happened. She goes, where the don'ts you're not allowed to? I'm afraid to move because Shabbat just came in. So I said to her, it's interesting. After I light candles, I just get this feeling of letting go of pleasure, no more lachats. I don't know, whatever was done. And I could just look around, enjoy the scene, enjoy the candle lighting. And I said, and you went into the opposite of freezing. Oh, now I'm not allowed to do this. I'm not allowed to do that. I said, just relax. Deep breathing. Enjoy the starting of Shabbat. Connect to yourself, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, a day of oneg. Don't look at Shabbat as a day of imprisonment. I said, you look like a prisoner that was just thrown into a cell. Calm down. She goes, but there's a lot of you are not allowed to. I said, it's fine. At the moment, we're allowed to just enjoy the moment. And really, there's not a lot you can't do. Nobody's going to tell you, turn on the lights, don't turn on the lights. You just go on. It's fine. Enjoy. Ta'ama kitov sachra, taste the good. Taste the good, and that will be the motivation of everything that you do. So all the 613 mitzvahs are not a headache. It's actually a gift. A gift. Ratza HaKadosh Baruch Hu lezakot et Yisrael. Hashem wanted to give us a zchut and a merit. Lefichach hirba lahem Torah u'mitzvot. That's why He gave us Torah mitzvot. It's pleasure. It's another candy. It's another candy. It's another candy. Once we taste it in the positive way, we want to do more. We want to do more mitzvot. It's the same thing also with learning Torah. We have the klal. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, who wrote the Mishnah, says, "Lolam yilmad adam b'makom shelibo chafetz." A person should learn Torah in a place where he wants to be, wants to learn. Can't force a child to learn in a school he doesn't want to be there. He will not be a kli, a vessel to accept and to learn. You have to be in a place that gives you pleasure. There's a cute, I wrote here, a cute story about Levi Yitzchak Miberditchev that said, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you made life difficult. You put all the pleasures of the world in front of our eyes, and the kedusha, the beauty, and the treasures are in the books. We have to open up the books to see the beauty of Torah. But the first thing we see is Gashmias, dika pleasures. Why don't you just turn it around? Put the worldly Gashmias, dika pleasures in the books, and put the treasure, the beauty of Olam Haba, Dusha out there in the world. But this is the challenge. We first see Gashmias, dika pleasures that pulls us. I mean, whoever learns marketing knows that this is one of the main things you should do. Put it in front of their eyes, whether a person needs it or not. You see it, you buy it. Make it look nice, put the atmosphere. This is what Hashem did. He challenged us with, and we have to find in this Gashmizdika world that is trying to pull us away, actually to say, Marabu Masech Hashem, to find beauty in the flowers and the trees and everything, instead of saying, oh, look what I planted. Look at the beautiful flower I grew, to say, God created a beautiful world. In Tanya, in Perek Tes, the Alter Rebbe explains that our job is to take these Gashmizdika pleasures and turn them to Avodas Hashem. I could quote it for you. It says, "Lishanota v'lehafcha mitanugei olam hazeh la'avat Hashem." To use it. That's what the Rebbe told us. Use the technology. Use these things. These are pleasures that were brought down to pull the person away from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but we could use the same thing to bring pleasure to the person and to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And it continues in Tanya, B'chol levavcha b'shnei yitzrecha, Yetzer HaTov and Yetzer HaRa. We're supposed to take the Yetzer HaRa and give the Yetzer HaRa the taste of Avodat Hashem, that even the Yetzer HaRa will want to lavod et Hashem. Hainu sheyaleh v'yavo v'yagia lemadregat ahava rabba anikret בכתוב ahava beta'anugim litaneg b'Hashem, that even the Yetzer HaRa would want to litaneg Hashem. And that's why the pasuk says in an interesting way, Tama ketov sachra. She tasted and saw that the merchandise was good. Lo yichbe balayla, nera, balayla, in the dark. Why didn't it say she just worked more hours or she got up early in the morning? Why does it say that she went through the night? The night symbolizes darkness, things that look like it's hepach Hashem, to find the tanug and the beauty in it, la'avodat Hashem, lo yichbe balayla, in the choshech, choshech meaning the world that looks like it's choshech to Hashem. There she finds also the beauty of avodat Hashem. How do we do it? How do we do it? So we could do it in machshava, has to work in machshava, in dibur, and maaseh, which are the three levushim. It's training your mind to think positive, to think pleasurable, to think, okay, like Ba'omer is coming. You know, what could I make it a festive day, a nice day? How could I connect to the energy of this holy day of Lag BaOmer in the positive way? Shabbos is coming, Rosh Chodesh is coming. Our mindset of machshava, of thinking things in a positive way, in a pleasurable way, whether it's in marriage, whether it's in chinuch, and whether it's in avodat Hashem. Dibur. Dibur is talking in a positive way. When you talk in a positive way, you're melamed zchut, you think of a good thing to say, or you keep quiet because you can't say a good thing, so that's also positive. You don't say bad things, so it makes you stop and think, wow, I can't even think of a good thing to say. That means my way of thinking is hurtful, it's harmful. It's taking me, it's changing the story in our mind to think something positive. And of course, b'maaseh, to do things to make me feel good. I sometimes tell people who are saying, so I say, what do you like? Do you like a good smell? Get yourself a nice perfume. It will make you in a good mood. A diffuser. Cook something that brings good smell. I remember every time I have grandchildren, and I also have nieces and nephews that come from overseas. And it's funny, sometimes they will open the door of my house and they go, wow, smells like Savta's house. They have some recipes like my mother. It right away makes them, as they're going up the steps, feel like they're coming to my mother's house, which to me is like a very good feeling that my children, grandchildren, connect my house to my mother's house. And they go, did you just make Savta's cake? Or something like that? Or did you just make challah? To do something that will give a good feeling for yourself and for others. The best therapy is going to give to somebody, helping somebody, calling up somebody, takes 2 minutes, and that person is so excited, so helpful, so grateful, that it makes you all of a sudden feel like $1 million. I visited somebody Shabbos right before Tzet Shabbat on the way home from a class. I said, you know what? I'll go up to visit somebody. And I went to visit somebody. She was so, I felt so stupid because she was so grateful and so I did a tzadikah, I did that, and I'm thinking all I did was it was a few flights up, and I could have gone home and and enjoyed the peace and quiet before Shabbos is out, but it wasn't such a big thing. It really wasn't such a big thing. I was dressed already. I was out already. I didn't get dressed especially, and I felt like she was overdoing her gratefulness. And then let's say Shabbos and Sunday, I got a WhatsApp from her, and I'm thinking, wow, she's really building me up. I should do this more often. When I'm down, I should go visit her for 3 minutes. I get 3 days full of gratefulness and compliments, and it's something. Doing for others is really a ta'anug. It's really a ta'anug. And we could do it in our as couples. We could do it in as parenting. We could do it for Torah and mitzvahs. Instead of looking at Yontif is coming, 2 days of Shavuos, how will I manage? Milchiks, fleishiks, hearing everybody doing such a cake, such blintzes, such croissonim or that. Don't go into the competition. Do things that make you feel good, your family feel good, family traditions or whatever it is. And if it's too much, sometimes I tell women, if it's too much and it makes you in a bad mood, just don't do it. Just don't do it. Baruch Hashem, live in Eretz Yisrael. You could get frozen blintzes. You could get ragalach. Enjoy the day. Go out with your kids. Get frozen stuff. Warm it up on Yontif, and enjoy life. Enjoy the Yontif. The Yontif is a Yom Simchaschem, Yom Simchatchem. It should bring ta'anug. It should not bring hardship. It should not. I read recently on a story. I forgot which Rebbe it was. I think it was the Lelev Rebbe. One of his chassidim, the kids went off. One of the children went off the way and wanted to marry a non-Jew, and they sent their son to speak to the Lelev Rebbe. And he sat and he spoke with him and sat on the porch and didn't mention at all the situation, just spoke to him, and they had a good, nice conversation of stam. Anyway, the boy came home and the parents said, so what did he say? He said he didn't say anything. We were just talking, and just says they didn't talk about their situation. I said, no, not at all. Then the Rebbe called the parents and said to the parents, what did your son say about me and about our conversation? So they said, actually, he didn't say, you didn't speak to him about the problem. He says, what did he say about me? He says, oh, he loved you and he loved the conversation. So he says, he'll love me, he won't love her. Then I'm happy because he tasted love to a Jew. He'll see the difference, and he won't love the girl eventually. And that's what happened. After the meeting with the Lelev Rebbe, he tasted the connection to a tzaddik. He tasted the connection of a love of a Jew that cared about him. He realized that he's not getting that from this non-Jewish woman. And it was an interesting way of thought of, as I mentioned before, food. There's so many stories of shluchim, because it says ta'amu, ta'ama, she tasted. We should use the koach of taste buds of food. It's so powerful. And I think we as mothers sometimes, or wives or women, don't realize whether it's sending a yoledet, a breakfast, or something, the koach of food. You see so many times how women in the Tanakh, we learned it last year, used food, whether it was Yudit or Yael, and other women with food, were overcame the oyev by enticing them with food. The whole brachas starts with the apple, with the etz hadat. I don't know if it was an apple. Some Persians say it was cranberry or whatever. So, but it was something to eat. It's the te'ima. Te'ima, latetam, means to give a reasoning, a taste, a depth. It's not water. It's going into the depth of things. Lit'om is like tasting the depth of something. It's something much deeper. I teach college. I'm a college teacher, and sometimes they tell me, "Oh, I can't come. I have ti'ima lachatuna." They're having a tasting. I feel like saying, by the wedding, you're not going to care if it tastes good or not good. You're not going to be there, b'chalal, in the food department, and you're wasting so much time going from caterer to caterer. Yes, we pay so much money. Yes, you want the food to be good. Stick to basics. I always ask my caterers, what are your best things? Just do that. I don't need anything fancy. I need good and fresh and tasty. I remember, I'll just share with you a cute story. One of my daughters got married in America, which was challenging for me as mother of the bride to do a wedding from here in a place that I don't know. And in Israel, I'm more familiar. I go to the weddings. I know what not to order. What to order. I don't eat, but I sometimes before a wedding, I start tasting a little bit at the weddings and know what not to order. And I see people try so hard to make fancy things, and it's impossible to cut, to taste, to try, whatever. So I remember going, and it was in the Chabad catering in Crown Heights, in Olei Torah, where I got married, my siblings got married, and two of my children got married there. And my mechotenist was saying, maybe we should try this, and maybe we should try that, and maybe this. So I said to him, what is your best meal? What do you do best? Because I know you could do fancy and schmancy and everything else, but what is your best meal? He looks at me, he says, you want to know the truth? He says, my best meal is my daily lunch for the school. Olei Torah, I cook the lunch for 1,000 kids. Not a drop is left, and I cook a lot. I said, so that's what we're giving. We're giving the school lunch, chicken, mashed potatoes, whatever it was. We're giving that. And she looks at me. Her husband's actually the principal. She goes, could we upgrade it a bit? I said, okay. Upgrade it with an entree of something, but the best thing that you can. I don't need fancy. I need good, healthy, tasty. Anyway, I was petrified. I was embarrassed to tell my sisters, who are very, feinschmeckers, we say it in Yiddish. I did very elaborate, fancy weddings. I didn't tell anybody. I sat with the caterer. I tasted, everything was delicious. I ordered. I said, it'll be a surprise. My mother said, Esther, you know what you're doing? I said, of course I do. Petrified. And at the wedding, my aunt, who has been there, done there, restaurants, hotels, and stuff like that, she says, Esther, this is one of the best meals I've ever had. And she says, which one of his menus? I never saw him give this. What is it called? I said, it's called the Olei Torah daily lunch. My mother went pale. So I said, Ma, is it good? She goes, yes, it is. I said, that's what the kids eat every day. And anyway, so food is a great thing. I have stories from here to tomorrow with food. My daughter had an unbelievable story. It started with the people tasting her cookies in her sukkah in Manhattan. The people looked to find out who made those cookies, and that's how they got to her. I read a story about a priest finding out he's Jewish because somebody came to the prison that he was the chaplain with Hanukkah latkes, and he said, my grandmother used to make it. And they asked him, which grandmother? He says, my mother's mother. So he says, so you're not Catholic. And he'd never realized that he was actually Jewish. And he became and he stayed chaplain, but the Jewish chaplain instead of the Catholic chaplain in the same job, but different uniform and different religion. There's so many stories that I have that with the taste of smell. Taste is also smell. It's not only in the mouth. There's so many things. I do want to add something in Chassidus. There are many words in Torah that you play around with the letters. And when you play around with the letters, it comes out, you just say the opposite. You have machala is also chemla. You have tzara is also ratzon, retzeh, right? You have ta'anug, which is also, if you take it in the negative sense, it's a nega. Nega means like nega tzarat, it's a womb. We have to take things that look like negaim, problems, tzarot, which unfortunately we're going through now with piguim, and and people being hurt and people being sick and to take it and find what is the good in here, what could we learn. I heard last night, and I'll share with you, unfortunately, I'm sure you all know Rabbi Lau, the chief rabbi of Israel, David Lau. I'm neighbors with his father, Rabbi Meir Lau. I'm very close friends. David Lau, the chief rabbi of Israel, his wife had a stroke, a young woman, and she's more demet, one shemet, young. She's in her 50s, and they were in Greece, and it took a while to bring her to Israel, whatever. Matzav is, at the moment, she needs a lot of tefillot to get up and everything. And he yesterday spoke, he said, he used the same concept, which is interesting. He said, and he quoted the Alter Rebbe, to take this nega and to make it into oneg. How can we learn something in the right way from this problem? So he took it to the sense that he said it hit him on Friday night. He says a whole week they're around her bed, trying to get her up, speaking to her, singing to her, talking to her, and he said when he was davening on Friday and singing Lechad Kala, and then he came and it goes on, Shamar is a chod and everything else, and then it comes to Hitoreri. It also hit him that that's what his brother Harav Lau, the chief rabbi, is doing next to his wife's bed, like telling her, get up, Hitoreri, kumi, ori. And he says, this is what Hashem is really telling us. That I know that you hear me. I know that you want your machshava, your inside, it's ani sheina v'libi er, that you're sleeping, but my heart is alive and here and up and listening. Hashem is really talking to us. Look at the good. See the ta'anug and don't see the nega. Don't see the difficulties. Look, take everything and try to find the good and wake up and see HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Don't see it as choshech, as helem. The woman that is working at night, but that knows that she's getting good quality goods, or working overtime for her children or for her job even, she sees either the salary at the end of the day, she sees the Purim costume that she stayed up a whole night, or the kogels that she was doing, or whatever she's doing in what looks to other people may be hard. We see the pleasure. We see the pleasure. Through the years, I could just share with you, through the years in a secular city, and when I work in my husband's office, jewelry business, everything with secular people, and they used to hear how many kids I have, they used to say, they look at me with such pity and like, oh, it's so hard. Oh, it's so hard. And I used to say, why do you say that? They used to say, it's getting up and it's children and sandwiches. And I said, you don't get up? You don't make a sandwich? So I make 3 more, 5 more, 10 more. I said, and what do your children do? Oh, this one's studying law. I said, Oh, it's so hard. Yeah, but she's going to be a lawyer. And I said, and your daughter? She's in medical school. I said, wow, so many hours, so many years. She'll be a doctor. And I said, no, be a mother. Why do you have pity on me? Why do you right away go into, wow, so hard. It must be so hard. I said, everything's hard. So I wouldn't have the children. I would be doing something else. 100 million other things. We all would be. We're women of energy of this age, and the world could tell us we can do, and we could do, and we believe in ourselves, and we would be doing 100 million other things. If you like something, it's not so hard. Even though I was honest to tell people, yeah, it's hard. It's a lot of food, a lot of laundry, drowning in it, drowning in dishes. Yes, a lot of nights up. Yeah, their earaches, their throat aches, kids have bad dreams, nursing, overweight, not myself, whatever it is. I have dreams, I'd like to do them. They're on pause, taking care of my children. But at the end of the day, you look at what gives you the pleasure, or what is your goal? What do you want to do? And if you're doing it now, I tell people, some people say, I feel so stuck. And I say, I believe you. But the kids will grow up. You will have time. At the moment, enjoy what you're doing. Enjoy the little kids. Like one of my daughters say, Ma, I wish I could freeze before they all get before they get married. She had all her boys home from yeshiva, from the age of 22 and down. She goes, so much. She goes, why do I have to marry them off? They're having such a good time, and they're men, and they're talking, and they're this, and they're that, and they're helping, and they're doing, and they're funny, and you can have good conversations. I said, you know what? If you could freeze it, enjoy it while you can, because then they get married, and they speak, and they have wives, and they're busy with their lives. But then you'll find pleasure, oneg, in that stage of your life. Don't spend time crying on, I wish they were kids again. Of course, I miss those little babies, those little kids. And my kids get upset when I look at pictures when they were young, and I said, oh, I miss those little guys. And they go, Ma, we're here. I said, yeah, you're all grown up men. I miss those cute little cheeks. They say, Ma, our cheeks are here. I said, yes, covered in beards. I miss you little kids, cuddling little kids, climbing into my bed and nudging. I even miss those days. So but I don't want to spend time on that. I said, I enjoy that you guys also now, etc. This is tanug, to find, ta'amat, taste the good, find the taste, the good taste in everything. And that's why we have Shabbos. We taste Olam Haba on Shabbos. Tamu ur'u kitov Hashem. And before Friday, it's supposed to have a little kugel or something, a tima shel Shabbat, to give you the taste for more. We should have the taste for more for the times of Mashiach, Techav Umiyad Mamash. So everybody, let's look at the pleasures in our overworked, tired out, tough life sometimes, but there's a lot of good, a lot of challenges in this world, and Hashem wants to see how we take the pega, nega, machala, to chemla rabba emunatecha.
Very inspiring. Wow. Very inspiring.
Thank you. Okay, everybody, have a great week. B'ezrat Hashem. Take care. Bye-bye.